Okay, so that's going to be a rather quick one. I want to explore the templating options of the app ops. So that's basically a string helper that kind of grew into a minimal solution for templating as well. So let's just not even bother with loading a framework or anything. I'm simply going to say composer require neon 3 apps ops, and again, those are static functions. You can run that in any context you want, any framework, any or just plain PHP like we were going to do here. So let's just see if this starts. Yep. Okay. So let's actually start by just creating a really blank file that we're going to call index, and that's all we want to do for now. And probably going to require the autoloader. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. And let's be actually very primitive about this and switch over here and say, let's do this. Okay, so this seems to work fine. Doesn't throw any kind of errors. Is my, yeah, error reporting is on. Okay, so that should all be fine. And that's the only thing I'm worried about right now is this index HTML. So let's go into the basic templating function. So let's just assume that we have some kind of template, right? Let's just call this template for now. And yeah, that's all fine. Here we're gonna say title, and I mean, this is a very global use case, but let's just assume, right? And then here we're gonna say, okay, this is gonna be a section. And maybe we're gonna have some general output for now, right? Let's do general output for now. So that's the template I'm gonna use. Again, this is probably weird to use a template for the actual global instance, but let's just play it along. And here we basically then say, okay, let's use ops embrace. I need to include that, I suppose. Okay, so you can either use the complete, namespace, or I mean, I like the use and makes my actual business logic shorter. So then here embrace, and oh, actually I want to have embrace from file in that case, and it's template HTML, and I'm going to call this very generic. So what do we have here? We have an array with, let me actually try to remember this title for now. Okay, that's fine. Let's do that. And the title is ops test. Okay. Oh, whoops. Okay, so let's check that out. Oh, I have no path defined. That makes sense. So I can either basically, give this the every time the absolute position, but what I can also do is I can basically say, and you don't have to do this if you work in Neon 3, then that's already there, right? And whoops, I don't know what I'm doing here. Define path, let's do it like that, and then just say dear name of file, right? I'm super global here, and that should be fine. So let's see if that works. Yep, welcome. That's basically all we do right now, and the title is correctly substituted. So let's create a little bit of more of a, let's just say we're also going to have a, let's do the task list, right, that we used to have. Task list, and let's maybe write it like this. And here we say that's an array of tasks. So let's just say, I don't know, go shopping and maybe write a letter. Okay, so that'll not do anything, right? We still haven't really decided what to do with that here. So I have a couple, or actually let's first do something else, so we can look at that a little bit. Let's say content, and content is a associative array, and it's going to have things like or like name, and name is going to be test, and it's going to have a subheader, and that is going to be explore this page. Okay, so let's try that one out. So let's just say first we're going to say, instead of welcome, we're going to say sorry, I forgot actually, what was this? Content. Okay, we're going to say content name, and we're going to have a subheader that's going to be called content subheader. Let's see. Okay, so that works like a charm. I mean, I'm not worried about styling at this point. I mean, this is just a test. So as we can see, what happens is I would use, just like in JavaScript, a notation of a dot to go down. But the question that I have now is, well, what if I have something that I want to potentially iterate over? And let's go question. So let's start by creating a end template, and in that case we're going to give it a 4, and this is something that basically you just would like a for each, right? So what I would do in this case is task list as, do we call it task list? Task, yeah, like a little bit weird here. Okay, as, and in that case I'm going to say key item, and then basically say what happens if I do item. Note that I don't need $signs here. I basically just omit them and see what happens now. And I see that I get my list of items. So I do have the key here as availability, right? So let's just basically create a conditional here and say if, and I'm going to say key, which should be 0, 1 in that case, because it's just a regular array. If key bigger 0. Okay, so what do I have here? And I can see that the first one is now false, so it's completely out of the DOM. So a couple of things to note here. Okay, so as you can see, the end template completely vanished, and same with the attribute, and like it simply doesn't even happen. So this is actually pretty secure, because if you filter out content on the server side, then actually you don't have to worry about any kind of exposure of information that you might have, conditionally available or not. So one more thing to mention is this works outside of the template as well. So template is basically something we use for stuff like iterations, and but I could might as well just do the following and say, well, you know what? I want to do it differently and say, please show me and this is something that's also interesting. So what also works is I can go to task list 0 item. No, what do we call it? Oh no, just nothing. Okay. Task list 0. Get rid of the ngIf in that case. And should have an output here. Yeah. So that works. I can directly, go to a particular key. And now I can basically say this has a conditional. So let's just say we generate this somehow. So let's say actually this is I don't know, let's make it easy. It's a little bit of a construction. All right, you know what? Let's do go. Yep, let's do that. And basically say, okay, and if, and then I can say task, or actually that's such a weird concept. Let's not do that. Let's create something else. Let's just say like conditional, because I wouldn't know how you would actually use this in real life. So let's just say ngIf conditional, and so in that case what would happen, I see it, and let's just say like whatever logic you produce, and all of a sudden it is not true. So I don't need to like use the nif in a template. So yeah, that's that. Pretty short and spicy. There are a couple of things in the ops that are worth mentioning that have nothing to do with templating whatsoever. So this could, for example, be let's do something like slug, right? And slug is array title. But we want to say ops to kebab case, right? And then basically say, whoops, where are we going to have it here? Let's do this primitive and say slug. Okay, of course I cannot do that in PHP. That makes perfect sense. Let's do it manually for now. I mean, I could declare it afterwards, but let's just do it like this. And then I can see that it transformed into kebab case. So there are a couple of those helper functions that you're perfectly fine to use outside of any kind of templating, and you can look that up at the link that I provide below this video. This is just a very short one to just introduce you to a very quick start of how templating can work, and normally you wouldn't like work on it as like from the start. With doc type declarations and all of that stuff, but I think it helps like in understanding like how can you easy template something, and it is a very small like actually how small is this? So this is basically one file with 400 lines of code, so it's pretty small and fast, and that's basically what you would like to explore when you try something out. Thank you so much for listening, and hope it wasn't too fast, and I'll see you probably in a more in-depth explanation. Just wanted to have like one of the easy ones, because I know that from the feedback from my other videos, it seems to be the case that once in a while people wonder why why so much pre-knowledge is required. So here you have a pretty simple one to get you started. And well, have fun, and see you guys soon.